enchanted moonlit night, when a lovely young woman, Hemavati, bathed languorously in a forest pool. She was so beautiful that Chandrama, the moon god, was captivated. He descended to earth and seduced her. As the first blush of dawn colored the sky, Chandrama reluctantly prepared to return to his celestial abode.
Oh, graceful woman, I must leave now.
Oh, my lord, how shall I live without you?
My love, you shall bear a son who will be a famous king and found a great dynasty called Chandela, the Moonborn.
A son?
He will immortalize the memory of our love.
A son? A son? I'm dishonored. How am I to face the world after this?
My beloved, our son shall build glorious temples to atone for our illicit love. But first, you must go to Khajuraho.
Hemavati traveled to Khajuraho, where she gave birth to Chandravarman, who it is said built 85 temples to atone for his mother's sin. History, however, tells it differently and ascribes the building of these superb temples to the Chandela kings between the 10th and 12th centuries. Early rulers grew to power, vassal chieftains of the Pratihara rulers of northern India, and generations of Chandela kings drew their swords repeatedly on behalf of their liege lords. The environs of Khajuraho often resounded to the tread of armies, the shrill of trumpets, and the rattle of battle drums, as Chandela forces marched out in martial order. In 940 AD, Chandela king Yashovarman attacked the fabled fortress of Kalinga, the strategic gateway to central India.
My lord, let us proceed to Khajuraho, the ancient seat of your ancestors. That is where we will celebrate our victory.
Not just celebrations, my queen. We shall build a temple there in gratitude to Lord Vishnu. Nothing but his valor has bestowed this glorious victory upon us.
Yashovarman reached Khajuraho, the ceremonial procession. Musicians led the glittering cavalcade of richly caparisoned elephants, contingents of cavalry, their lances glinting in the sun, and infantry soldiers with drawn swords. Drums rolled and heralds chanted the king's glorious titles. Maharajadhiraj, the king of Kalinga, Maharaj Yashovarman is arriving!
Aryajan,
Yes, Maharaj.
this is the site.
Wow.
Here I shall lay the foundation of my temple.
Excellent idea, Maharaj. The precinct is already sanctified by the earlier temples constructed by your ancestors. But Maharaj, who will be the temple's architect?
You must seek, Rajmantri. You must. Search every corner of the country. Look for a person whose architectural knowledge and expertise is unparalleled, whose wisdom is boundless, imagination unique, and vision radiant. Only such an architect can shape the temple of my dreams.
The temple site throbbed with activity as thousands of people worked to fulfill Yashovarman's dream. And as we worked, we taught our disciples the essence of our art.
My son, a celestial damsel will be sculpted from the stone. Remember the measurements I taught you?
Yes, Guruji. The size of the face must equal the palm. The body would be 5, 9 and 13 such parts. The chin should be half the forehead and the...
Enough, my son, enough. You have memorized your lessons well.
But Guruji, how do we infuse the figures with life and vitality?
By movements, my son, movements. By distributing the body weight. Look, the 3 turns of the body in this figure. The head is in one direction. The torso turns in another. And the knee is bent like this.
Truly marvelous, Guruji. It will appear as though this Naika has come alive and will descend from the temple wall and soon set foot on the ground. But tell me, Guruji, why do we sculpt figures of women on temples' facades?
Because woman is the root of creation in the universe. Right from the birth to upholding the cultural tenets, it is a woman who plays a central role.
Guruji, please shed some light on the figures of the gods.
The first thing is, the divine cannot be described. This is Niti, or the divine rule.
Then how do we give form to this formless, Guruji?
First of all, abstain from any activity that might distract you. Then practice yoga sadhana to comprehend the essence of the deity. Always remember, my son, the sculptor's body and mind both are the tools of his craft.
Yashovarman often visited the temple site to view the progress of his temple.
Rajshilpi, this Panchayatan temple of Lord Vaikuntha Vishnu is indeed unique.
Oh Rajan, once completed, it will outshine all that has been created before. And in future, it can never be replicated by anyone.
Rajshilpi, we wanted you to build on a grand scale. But this surpasses all our dreams. But of course, there must be a lake in front of the temple for the devotees' ablution before they enter the divine abode. And I will name the lake Sagar.
Under Yashovarman's son and successor Dhangadev, the Chandelas became one of the strongest and most wealthy powers of northern India. The rich booty of war and revenues from conquered lands poured into the kingdom. In thanksgiving for divine bounty, Raja Dhangadev built the Vishwanath temple, dedicated to Lord Shiva.
Beautiful. Very beautiful. Your glorious verse has left us spellbound, dear poet. I bestow upon you this purse full of golden coins. And now, Rajguru, who shall henceforth tend to this temple? I give to you the cattle, grain, and land as gifts, so that you can be free of all material concerns and devote yourself in the worship of the Lord.
King Tangadev was succeeded by his son, Gangadev, who initiated the building of a temple to the Lord Vishnu. A deep trough was excavated in the sanctified ground. Grain was placed in it with copper, silver, gold, and great handfuls of the 9 precious gems, all symbols of the concentrated essence of the earth. The interior of the temple, lit with flickering oil lamps, was heavy with the fragrance of incense. The king and his queen paused before the sanctum and worshipped the Lord with the 5 things: water from the 5 sacred rivers, flowers to represent the earth, incense to signify the wind. They proffered the sacred fire, while the priest rang bells to recall ether. Vidyadhar ascended the throne in 1004. In 1019, the dreaded invader from Central Asia, Mahmud Ghazni, descended upon Hindustan to plunder its legendary wealth. His armies stained its northern plains with the blood of the bravest of the brave. King Vidyadhar received news of his approach.
Maharaj, Ghazni's forces continue to march towards Kalinjar.
Just as I had anticipated. Send messages to our allies immediately and tell them this is the time to come together to combat this great threat.
My lord, the messengers are ready to be dispatched. Any further orders for me?
Well done. Summon the men to arms. Instruct our forces at Mahoba to march towards Kalinjar. Dispatch the infantry, the cavalry, and the war elephants.
Yes, my lord.
King Vidyadhar and his allies mustered a huge army. Deterred by the formidable force, Mahmud Ghazni was forced to retreat. Mahmud Ghazni returned 3 years later to lay siege once again to the fortress of Ghazni. Many long months passed, but Ghazni's army was unable to breach its impregnable defenses. Eventually, an honorable settlement was reached, and after an exchange of gifts, Ghazni's forces withdrew, thwarted yet again by Vidyadhar. The king returned to Khajuraho flushed with victory and enormous prestige, and initiated the building of this, the Kandariya Mahadev temple, dedicated to the Lord Shiva. The royal architects carefully studied each of the existing temples for several months.
So many magnificent temples have been built. But how to create one that surpasses them all?
Guruji, let this one stand out for its sublime architecture, where the proportions are perfect in every aspect.
Wonderful. I like this thought. Keep this idea as the base. Its beauty and geometry will sing in unison the glory of God.
Yes, Guruji. Its architecture will stand out as a perfect example of geometry. Soaring vertical lines will be balanced by horizontal bands. And on top of them all will be hundreds of sculpted figures.
Wow. It will turn out to be a harmonious blend of architecture and sculpture. Excellent. Wonderful.
There will be a towering spire, buttressed by a group of smaller ones.
Wonderful.
And Guruji, that will lend a special rhythm and movement to the shikhar.
Wow, my son. Beautiful inspiration. What a wonderful thought.
So, let us get to the drawing board, Guruji, and do the complex mathematical calculations that will help us achieve the immaculate balance we seek.
Excellent idea, my son.
Construction began, and slowly, stone by stone, the temple began to take shape. A huge ramp was constructed to the 31-meter spire, and enormous blocks of stone were drawn one by one and carefully maneuvered into position.
The time has come to lay the last stone of the temple. Ropes have been tied. Pull it up. Pull, brothers, pull. Use your complete strength. This is so heavy. I have to save every muscle and nerve. Have patience, brother. Have patience. Remember, all this labor is our devotion for the Lord. Do you understand? Here it is now. Place at the very top of the spire. Careful. Careful. If it falls, it will easily crush us all. It's all set now. Finally, the construction of the Kandariya Mahadev temple, which resembles the cave of Lord Shiva, is complete. Har Har Mahadev.
Kandaria Mahadev temple is the grandest of all the temples in the Western complex. Kandaria refers to the word Kandari Ari, meaning the one who set Kama to ashes. The temple dedicated to Kandaria Mahadev is almost 106 feet in height. Its spire is adorned with multiple other smaller spires. It is famous for its grandeur and unparalleled craftsmanship in stones. The temple consists of a Mukhmandap, Mandap, Mahamandap, Antaral and Garbhagriha.
Such was the religious fervor of the Chandelas and such the prosperity of the realm that numerous temples and shrines were built over the years. The sacred precinct was thronged with royal worshippers, their entourages and their priests, as they circumambulated the temples and then worshipped the deities within. To enhance the grandeur of temple ritual, King Vidyadhar summoned temple dancers from Kalinja to dance and worship to the Lord Kandaria Mahadev. A royal gathering witnessed the sacred ritual. During the day, the temple precincts were alive with color, movement, and the sounds of worship. But in the early morning, all was still. As dawn illumined the sky, pouring it through cupped hands, reciting the sacred Gayatri Mantra, the ritual invocation to the sun. And as the volume of chants reached a crescendo, the sun touched the portals of the temples. King Vidyadhar died in 1029. Most of his successors lacked the martial prowess and vision of their illustrious forebears. The kingdom reeled under attacks from ancient enemies and newer Muslim invaders. Focus shifted to the more defensible Kalinja. Khajuraho, however, was protected from the ravages of war by the thick forests and rugged hills that surrounded it. But kings, preoccupied with war, had less and less time to visit the temples. Maintenance failed, and the temple precincts became increasingly deserted. We sculptors gradually moved on to other locations, and townspeople drifted away to new centers of power. A group of yogis, famous for their healing skills, lived among the temples for a while. Batuta visited them at Khajuraho in 1335, almost 400 years after the Lakshmi temple was built.
Wow! The town carries vestiges of its former glory. But it is akin to a widow stripped of her ornaments. How beautiful it once must have been. The great wooden palaces are now silent, and all one can hear is the sound of whistling wind. Even the temple precincts look neglected.
Gentlemen, I would suggest you one thing. Why don't you visit the yogis who live here? They have a great reputation in this area.
Very good. Please do take me to them. Huzur, I am Ibn Battuta. I've come from the land of Arabia, and I am a Muslim.
Caste and creed do not matter to me, my son. Being a good human does. And Sanatan culture makes us a good human being.
Babaji, I've heard a lot about you, and I've come here for my treatment.
What ails you, my son?
Babaji, I'm merely a curious visitor. I seek only your blessings.
I see. Blessings. They are always with you, my son.
Well, satisfy the curiosity of a traveler. Babaji, tell me, how have you learned these wonderful cures?
We heal through the powers of Sri Vaidila and Surya, the sun god, who have endless, miraculous, curative powers.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah.
Years passed. Khajuraho slipped into oblivion, its glorious temples forgotten by all but a handful of villagers. The fecund forest reclaimed the land, and jungle vines drew their green veils over the temples. Extreme temperatures created fissures in the great edifices. Earthquakes shook the ground. Spires fell, temple platforms disintegrated, and the dust of centuries covered them in great mounds. And then, in 1838, a British officer, Captain T.S. Burt, passed this way while mapping large tracts of central India.
Oh my God! What wonderful figurines! The sculptors have carved magic on the stones. Yes, Sahib. And once these precincts were thronged by royal devotees and the sounds of their Vedic chants and hymns.
Burt came and went, but Khajuraho was still lost to the world. Only a few local people continued to perform small personal devotions at the temples, each according to individual preference and predilection. At the Devi Jagdambi temple, a devotee would pause before the image of a woman, looking into a mirror.